What is one amazing crop that we have in Trinidad and Tobago that grows so well? It's a herb that can truly heal you from the inside. If you have any kind of internal injuries, we give it to people who've been in car accidents. We give it to pregnant women after their deliveries to help healing on the inside. It soothes you down if you're unwell. It helps with your sore throat, with flu, with fever. It's a truly incredible crop that we're going to be harvesting today that we grew in a container, 100% organic. That is saffron, also known as turmeric. We're going to address those two different names in this video, and we're going to get to a quick little harvest. Let's get going. Hello everyone, thank you so very much for joining in. This is Dylan from the Trinidad Gardeners channel, and I'm so glad that you're here for this one. I'm not going to be taking up too much of your time today. Today we're going to be doing a simple harvest of turmeric, also known as saffron. And that's the first thing that we do need to talk about. In Trinidad, we call saffron turmeric, and we call turmeric saffron. And as you that I've known it since I was born, as you that everybody knows it, and just the idea that I'd be probably saying something different today, it's probably going to be a situation where you are today's years old when you found out about this, and you're free to go and do your own research and come back and let me know what you find. But saffron and turmeric are very different. They're two entirely different spices. They're made from two entirely different plants, originated supposedly from two entirely different parts of the world. Very quickly, not going to take too much of your time with this, but saffron, the thing that we call saffron, is not really saffron. Saffron comes from a petal of a plant, and it's originated from Iran, like way back in the day, and moved over to our side of the world a few hundred years ago. And so yeah, saffron is a flower, is like a petal from a little blue/purple kind of plant. I found out about this just a few weeks ago, so I'm new to this information as you are. Turmeric, on the other hand, is what we call saffron, and that is from the root of this plant that I'm going to be harvesting today. And yeah, they look very similar, except that true saffron is more red and turmeric is more orange, as we are accustomed seeing it. All that being said, that's not going to change the fact that I'm going to be using saffron and turmeric interchangeably in this video, because that's the way that I know it, and I'm going to continue knowing it like that. But for anybody who is watching this outside of Trinidad and you're confused as to why I'm calling turmeric saffron, or I'm saying saffron and it's really turmeric, this is the reason why. In Trinidad we say turmeric and saffron for the exact same thing, which is turmeric. But outside of Trinidad, you will know it to be two different spices. So I know it's kind of weird, especially if you're Trinidadians here who are probably watching and trying to figure out what I am really talking about. Just Google it, right? Take a look and let me know what you will find, because it's baffling. It's baffling because we do this in Trinidad all the time. We make up our own words and it catches on. So over 100 years, my parents, my grandparents, great-grandparents always called something something. And now that somebody says that something is not really something, it throws us off. But it does. We shouldn't really let it, because I mean, no Trinidadian is going to stop calling banana fig, even though fig in the bigger world is a little purple fruit, that originated in Africa, and it's not the banana that we call it. But in Trinidad, a fig is a banana and a banana is a fig, and we're going to continue with that. And I am going to also continue with that, because we're in Trinidad and we are Trinis, and that's just what we do. But all that being said, we're going to go straight into harvesting out this saffron. Saffron, you know that it's ready. It's kind of like ginger, where you wait until the leaves start to dry. And if the leaves are looking really nice, lush, green, and healthy, that means you're not ready to harvest your saffron just yet, because it still has energy that it wants to store in that root. So it's a kind of a wait and see what happens with your leaves. The top dictates what happens at the bottom here. So you should not be harvesting your saffron if it is looking nice and green and lush. Like even if like all the leaves look like what this is looking like here, where it's nice and well, it's not super nice, but it is green and this has some dryness on the edges. This is not enough for me to want to harvest the saffron. But if you look at the majority of these leaves, like some are falling apart, they're all very crispy and brown looking over here. So that tells me that this is definitely ready for harvesting. Saffron is one of those crops that they store really well in the ground. So if you don't need the saffron, you don't have to harvest it, and you can leave it, let it grow some more, and it will grow fine for you inside container or in the ground. And it is also one of those crops where you don't have to harvest all the saffron at once. You could potentially stick fork down and just pull up a few of these shoots, because each one of these shoots, each connection of these shoots will go down to a specific part of the plant, kind of like ginger. So it is up to you what you want to do with your saffron. I want specifically use of this container, so I'm going to be harvesting everything from inside this bucket here, ready or not ready. The majority is ready, but that's just how you're going to know that your saffron is ready. Saffron can take between 6 months to a year to be fully ready and mature, but it can stay even longer. If you're not ready to harvest it just yet, you can harvest partially and leave the rest even beyond a year if you'd like to. And you do have the option of coming in a bit early if you really need that saffron, and you can harvest from 3 to 4 months. It's not going to be very developed. It's not going to be truly mature. But if you really need it and you don't have an other option, then you can start a harvest from about that time. But I would say, as much as possible, leave it for the longer end. As much as you can ensure drainage, so it's not rotting under the ground with too much moisture. Your saffron will be best if you leave it for longer rather than shorter. This is what the turmeric looks like when it is ready to be harvested. All the leaves are going to die. It's similar to ginger in that respect. If the leaves are like how this one is, I would say this is not fully ready, even though I'm going to harvest out everything from here because I want the bucket for other purposes. It will be okay enough. Some of the leaves are dry, but you see out here we have so much of just brownness. You don't want the greenness. It's just way too fresh, way too lush, and that means that the roots maybe aren't the most developed. They are going to be somewhat developed, but maybe not the most. For this, I'm just going to be emptying the entire bucket, but again, you don't need to take out all. If I really wanted to, I could just come in here and just pull out a little bit. If you saw my harvest video last week, you would have seen me just pull out some of the turmeric from inside of this bucket here, but I'm not going to be doing that this week. I'm going to be taking out everything from here and just showing you all what we end up getting. Here, there we are. So I have my little fork rake thing here. Be using that. It's easier because I'm taking out everything, so I just need to dump everything out here, then salvage whatever we can, and I'll repurpose some of the soil and mainly get the bucket. So going up. As you can see, and people always ask, hopefully you can see here, we do have drainage holes, half-inch drainage holes at the bottom. Every single plant that you put into a container should have drainage holes. If it doesn't have drainage holes, the water is just going to settle. It's going to go anaerobic, which is a lack of oxygen, a lack of air, fresh air, and it's going to cause root rot because that encourages the wrong kinds of bacteria inside. You do need bacteria. Bacteria is very important. Half of your body's bacteria without you realizing it, but the bad bacteria is what you don't want. So empty this out. Up. Yeah. So this is what the root ball looks like now, and on the outside, that's on the outskirts here, we can see some turmeric in the root, right? So we just move aside some of this soil. So you see, it doesn't actually go down very, very deep. Most of the turmeric is here within the first 4 inches of the bucket, and this is not the most amazing soil. This is a mixture of some garden soil, but really just like all of this is gravel, like sharp sand. So it's not very picky turmeric. You don't have to worry too much about it. We're going to go through, see what we get. Okay, so it's coming off in clumps here. Try not to break it out too much, but it's happening. Up. Okay, so up. See that little fingers, little orange fingers here? So that's our saffron, that's our turmeric that you can grate and make into a powder, dry it, and yeah. So normally this you would cure it for a few days, and that just helps it to store better than just storing it just like this. And I would also wash these out after. So this is the other head. Okay. Wow, look at that. See that? So you have some more orange fingers here. That's, yeah, just amazing. Cool. Oh yeah, this is nice. It breaks off really easily when it's ready and it's well matured. Yeah, I don't know why I have a tool if I'm just using my hands. Yeah. More clumps. Alright, we have some more over here. How cool is that? Like how much money in turmeric and saffron this is just out of this container, grown entirely from just the garden soil and gravel. And now we can use this to nourish ourselves, to heal our bodies, and from the backyard. Crazy. Hey, thank you all so very much for indulging me for this video here. I think it's just a really nice little harvest of such an amazing herb that is just incredible. Like you could grow this in your backyard, 100% organic. The growing guide for saffron slash turmeric will be not too far behind, so stay tuned for that. And I really hope that you're just seeing the kind of things that you could have in your garden, in your backyard, whether you have the space, whether you have concrete, whether you have the actual land, whatever you have, you can do something that can in some way impact your food bill, in some way just either reduce it or enhance the quality of food that you're getting, because this is 100% organic here. There's no chemicals at all in this. And I mean, I'm not going to use much of this at a time. This is going to last very long. And just think about if you just wanted to grow saffron and you did a few, like 5, 6, 7 buckets of this, how much saffron you're getting. And it's just incredible. So remember, as always, you can feel free to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. You can feel free to tag us on any platform if you are growing saffron as well. We'll be happy to see what you're doing, because that's such a motivation for us on the channel to see you all just growing. And if you know somebody who'd be interested in growing more healthy organic food for themselves and their family, feel free to share this video and the channel with them. Remember, as always, it's been Dylan from the Trinidad Gardener channel reminding you to get up on your growing. Take care.